Welcome to Garden of Lights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension. Today we're going to be talking about grapes. We're also going to hear from Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, and he's going to tell you how to prune those grapevines and make them look really good for the spring. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden of Lights. Welcome back to Garden of Lights. Today we're talking about grapes, and it's one of my favorite snacks to have around the house because if they're washed, you can just pop them in your mouth any time of the day. But let's talk about why they're so good for us. Grapes are wonderful because they are fat-free, cholesterol-free, sodium-free. They are great as far as vitamin C. They have potassium, and of course, you know when you have the skin on something, you're going to get a little bit of that fiber too. So they're a wonderful snack. Now, if you're eating grapes and you're trying to wonder, how many should I eat for calorie-wise? About a cup of grapes is going to be about 70 to 80 calories, depending maybe on the size of the grape. So you're looking at that range as far as the calories from the grapes as far as the size. So that's something you might want to think about when you're trying to figure out exactly how many calories you're eating. Now, as far as selection, you're going to be buying them at the store, and I know when I buy them at the store, I'm always looking to find out if I'm getting the best group of grapes in that bag. And normally when you buy the bag, it's about 2 pounds average, and you may want to weigh it just to make sure. But you're going to look at those grapes. You want to open them up, try to look at them, look around the sides, look underneath, because you want really nice, plump grapes that are also hooked to that stem really well, because that tells you those grapes are going to be the freshest as far as when you're buying them. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your grapes. Now, as far as what you like, you know, there's green grapes and there's purple grapes. So it depends on what you like and what your family likes as far as the taste. I used to grow up on the green ones, but I have switched gears and now I love the red ones, but I can eat both. So just remember that when you're buying them, just check them over really closely, because you don't want any bruises or any bad ones in that group that you're paying for. Now, as far as storage, they will store in your refrigerator in a bag for about a week. So hopefully in that week's time, you're going to have those grapes eaten. Just remember, when you get ready to eat them, you have to wash them. That's very, very important. So when we come back, we're going to hear from Frank Hancock. He's going to be pruning that grapevine out in the gardens, and I can't wait to see what it's going to look like in the spring. So we'll see you back in just a little bit.
Okay, today I thought we'd talk a little bit about muscadines. We're up here in the community garden in Heritage Park, and there's a couple of pretty good sized muscadine vines up here, and we're gonna talk about pruning them a little bit about them. Muscadines are, you know, some of them are bronze and some of them are purple, but the main thing to consider, that's just a preference thing, what color you want, but some of them are female plants and some of them are perfect flowered. In the perfect flowered varieties, you can get just one because they're going to pollinate themselves, and then you'll have muscadines. If you get a female variety, it's not going to get pollinated, and so you won't have any muscadines. So pay attention to that when you go to purchase muscadines. I mean, I prefer to deal with the perfect flowered varieties. You're going to plant them. They're going to need a trellis. You'll plant them about 20 feet apart. You can figure they're going to run 10 feet in either direction. And so they got to be far enough apart so they don't all run together. After they get mature like these get about 3 to 5 pounds of 10-10-10 fertilizer sprinkled in about a 6-foot circle around them in March and again in May. Or sometimes we might come in here with a little bit of ammonium nitrate in June. just to get the growth good as we come into the production season. They are vines. The vines have got tendrils on them, and they wrap around everything they can get a hold of. So when you start trying to clean up something like this, it is a mess. So this would not be my preference for how to deal with them. I prefer a single trellis where I can get on both sides of them. Some people will put up a double trellis side by side, but then they kind of tend to grow together, and it's hard to get down that middle row. So I prefer a single trellis so I can work from either side. This, however, being in the park, is a shade feature. You'd be surprised how many people come through this park just to sit in the shade under this muscadine vine. It has grown so tall and been so long since it really got pruned that a lot of our muscadines are totally out of reach. You just can't get up there where they are. But there's enough of them that you can get to that, you know, I come check on them when they get ripe pretty regularly, and but so do the rest of the folks walking through the park. So what we're going to try to do this year is get this a little bit more manageable. It's not totally manageable because it's overhead and it's high, and without a step ladder or something, I can't get through it, and it's grown so thick on top I can't reach through it sometimes, even if I wanted to. So we're going to talk a little bit about pruning them. If you were going to work on a vine like this, and I see a lot of people that have got muscadine vines on their place that have not been maintained, and they grow into a jungle. We'll take a look up here in a minute at what kind of jungle we got growing on top of this thing. And so therefore it gets extremely hard to bring it back under control. And then this one is about in that shape. Your main arms that come off, and here, if I move this way a little bit, these older looking arms, that's the original things that we had growing to start with, and we've gotten a lot of new arms that have come up here on the bottom, and in some cases maybe too many. So it's hard to pick out which arms to keep and which ones you don't keep. And it's, in this particular situation, you just got to take your tool and start working your way in there, and when you find the good arm that you want to keep, you can prune it. But there's a lot of cutting that goes on just to get to them. Couple of tools that we're using. Obviously, we're using our pruning shears here, but this tool right here goes up to 9 feet long. And so it allows me to reach way over and cut some, so I don't have to figure out how to get in the middle of this mess up here. And it has a blade on it that we can slide down, and it cuts really good. So it works good for that. This particular tool also has a blade attachment, a saw blade. I took the saw blade off of it because it's just kind of in my way working in this mass of vines. So we'll be using this tool to reach out and trim some of these vines. When you're looking at a muscadine vine, you want to, I got some pieces just laying here on the ground we can look at. Put this paper down here for a minute. And it's, so if this is your main arm that's coming out, then you've got these pieces that are coming off. This is what's going to produce your fruit. So when I prune this every year, I want to have at least 3 good buds on here, maybe 4. I sometimes prefer to cut it at 4, and then some of this stuff is just needs to go away. So, you know, if I look at this and I come out here, that would be about right there. I would trim this off. Might get that one right there, That one right there, you know, just next to those buds, about the third or fourth one. And we'll just come down through here. And so when we get finished, it's going to be looking nice and pretty and uniform, and it's not going to have a bunch of runners going off to the side here. So this is kind of what the finished vine, this is broken up here from where I pulled it down a minute ago. But so your vine's going to look like this running down your trellis, and it's not going to be all tangled up in a big mess. These tendrils that come off of here, they grab a hold of everything they get a hold of, and you'll see we start working in here, they just, you can't pull a piece of it out. It's all tied up and wrapped up. But this is generally how you're going to prune it, and if you do this every year, it's not a big task. You just go down there and shape it up, you know, in the winter time, and you shape it up, and everything is good. If you don't do it every year, then you wind up with a jungle that you'll wonder if you're ever going to get it to be shaped up. So that's kind of what we want it to look like in normal managed conditions. This one's never going to look like that because it has arms going in 20 different directions here, so you have to kind of concentrate on that arm and the growth that's coming off of it to do your pruning. And so let's take a look at what we can do here. I spent quite a few minutes to get where I am standing right now because this thing was all down on top of us. But let's back off out here a little bit and we'll just cut some of this back. And like I say, on one that's overgrown like this, at least in my opinion, I just have to start cutting until I find what I'm looking for to start the pruning operation. It's just so massive and so overgrown. So let's step back out here and we'll cut a little bit of this. Okay, and as you see, this is going to take a little while to get into this vine right here and get it shaped up as good as we can hope to. We don't hope to get it in perfect shape in one season here, but we're going to get it where it's more manageable when we start on it next year. But this is going to take us a little bit longer than we got to talk about right now. So I think we'll go inside and see what Susan is fixing.
Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're talking about grapes and we're making a wonderful, tasty grape salad. So easy, and I will tell you, if you have extra grapes and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to eat these all in one little week time, this is a perfect way to get them eaten and not feel the guilt, because we're going to use some low-fat ingredients in this grape salad that hopefully it'll be something you'll want to put in your family as far as a new recipe. So let me just tell you what's in the recipe and what I have measured out, because I have some things already measured out. So in the recipe, it is going to tell you need a 8-ounce or about a cup of sour cream, and I did use the light sour cream. It's also going to tell you need an 8-ounce of cream cheese, and I also used a 1/3 less fat as far as that goes. So this is a less fat. And then it's going to tell you you're going to need about 2 pounds of red and green grapes. And so you're going to decide on how much you want to make, because I have made this before in half the recipe, but I'm going to make a full recipe today. So what I want to do is go ahead and add some of my red grapes that I have already washed into my pile of grapes that I have right here. And as you can see, these are some really good grapes, and they're coming off the stem really nicely, and they're also very firm and plump is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to put those in there. And what we're going to do first is you want to have this at room temperature, so we're going to go ahead and look at mixing this up together. So I'm going to take this and mix this together. This is the cream cheese and the sour cream, and it won't take long to have it mixed up. And the reason why you do want it at the room temperature is because it will mix up really nicely and it becomes very creamy. So once you have this mixed up, and it's on the creamy side, because that's what you're looking for, I am going to now, and you can see it's creaming up really nicely, I'm going to add now 2 tablespoons of sugar. And if you want to add less, you are welcome to do that, but I'm going to add 2. And this is just going to give a little bit of sweet to the grapes. And if you want to add another thing like Splenda or something like that to keep from adding the sugar, you can also do that. So I'm going to mix this up before I add one more ingredient. And this smells really, really good, just the cream cheese and the sour cream. All right, so I have that mixed in. The next thing we're going to add to the ingredients is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm going to add that next. And as you can see, this is so good and so simple. I want to get my edges so I don't have anything not mixed up really good. All right, so that looks really, really good. So I am going to get a paper towel though, just in case. I don't think it's going to, but I'm going to put this underneath just in case it wants to drop off. Okay, so you have all that mixed up, and now we have our grapes that have been washed, pulled off their stems, and so what we're going to do is mix this up next. And so, and this will stay in the refrigerator several days, so that's the good thing about it. So what I want to do is go ahead and scrape as much as I can onto the grapes, and I'm going to toss this with the grapes. It's a really nice salad, and this smells so good, especially with the vanilla in it. All right, we're getting there. I want to make sure I get as much as I can out of this bowl. Now, you could use also for an alternative, you could use yogurt if you wanted to instead of the sour cream. So there's some alternatives you could do and substitute if you wanted to. So there's some chances that you can try and do things. Let's see if I can scrape this off with this spoon right here. I want to try to get as much as I can off. And then what we're going to do is just toss this in the grapes. And this is good. What I'm going to do is just really coat the grapes with this wonderful mixture here. And it really just adds to the grapes. Now, I made this for my family just recently, and my son tried it, and he couldn't stop eating on it. And so I told him, I said, well, one good thing is you're getting a lot of good grapes in your diet as far as that week, but also it was really tasty too. So I'm going to keep mixing because I really want to make sure this gets all the way to the bottom and has every one of these grapes coated with this mixture. And this is going to make a really nice size salad, and you're going to be able to serve from 8 to 10 people. So it's going to serve really easy. And if you're looking for something to come up really quick to serve a group and you've invited somewhere and you need something quick, this is a great salad to take somewhere. You will come back with a hit as far as everybody wanting your recipe. I can tell you that for sure. All right, so this is looking really good. I just want to bring some more from the bottom to the top. And I think I have it just about coated. So the last part, and this is going to be one of my favorite parts, and I have used stevia brown sugar, and it's about 3 tablespoons. And I also use some crushed up kind of fine chopped pecans, and it's about 3 tablespoons of it. And so to finish off the salad, you can sprinkle some of this on top, and it just gives a wonderful taste to the salad. And you also get a little crunch from those pecans, which makes it really, really nice. So I'm just going to keep adding this to it because I really want to make sure I get it all around, because when someone takes that first spoonful out of the salad, I want to make sure they get some of this crunch when they're eating it. So I want to make sure I cover it really, really well. And you'll see this is perfect. Now, if you want to cut your recipe in half, it'll be perfect. Just cut everything else in half also, and you'll be fine. But this does make a nice size salad, and I will tell you, it is extremely tasty, and you're going to want this recipe. So when we come back, Frank and I will be tasting this grape salad. We'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden Delights. Welcome back to Garden Delights. Frank, we have a grape salad.
All right.
It is so yummy.
I'm ready.
All right. I got to make sure I give you some of those crunch from the top too. You tell me how much you
want.
want.
That's good for now, because I can come back later.
That's right. We both can, can't we? I'm going to get another one. I put it in the bowl because I figured it'd be easier. That's good.
It is good.
Kind of feel like you're getting some fruit. It's very, can't think of the word, but it's fresh tasting, I guess I should say. We have a little bit of red and a little bit of green. What's your favorite color? Which one do you like, the red or the green?
They're both good. I don't know.
They are both good. And that is really good.
Of course, we could make some out of muscadine.
Yes, but we'd have to remove the seeds first, or we'll be crunching on a lot of seeds, wouldn't we?
Yep. Muscadines do have plenty of seeds.
They do, but they sure are yummy.
But that's what we were doing today, is starting to prune the muscadines. And I say starting to prune them because they're overgrown. It's going to take a little bit of doing to get them back where they're supposed to be.
I know it, but I'm looking forward to the spring to see how they are.
That's my part-time project. Unless I run across some young guys that want to get up on top of that thing and prune it. But
it's going to look good, I know. Check out the recipe on the website. You're going to love this easy grape salad. And Frank and I will see you next time on Garden Delights.
all right. You know what they always say,